or you can find them online at solobeauty.com.
You fun guy.
Where's tomorrow?
Fun guy, what's up, baby?
What it do, baby?
Yeah, yo, what do you know?
You know what I'm saying? So I'll be telling you.
What's going on, Chicago? What's in it for the Black People Media presents I Want to Go Higher.
I hear me. There we go. All right.
Your mic has to be up.
Oh.
Can you hear the music?
WIIFTV-PM. WIIFTV-PM.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio.
And so, my fellow Americans, I have a dream.
You're listening to Trigger.
You want to crown him? Then crown her ass. I ain't scared of you, mother.
The one and only
Mike Brown. Mike Brown.
My calculations are correct.
Let's begin.
Yeah. Good morning. Oh, my God. Hey, what's going on? What's in it for the Black People Media Radio Network presents Trigger with Instructor Mike. I am your host, Instructor Mike. It's a beautiful day outside. This is not your typical, yeah, it is. I don't know. Chicago's weather is something else. It's funny. All right, so, going ahead and hit the stars and support great content on What's in It for the Black People Media Network. And we're going to talk about a few things. So I know it's in social media now. You all might not have seen, or maybe you have seen, that the city of Louisville is talking about settling the situation, the civil case, if anything, the civil suit of Breonna Taylor and her estate with the March 13th shooting that ended up taking her life. And so a decision is around the corner in terms of what, if anything, a decision is around the corner in terms of what, if anything, will the attorney, the district attorney, I believe, or the brain fart, the the Kentucky Attorney General, what decision are they going to give regarding indicting the three officers? And so you hear a lot of the, say her name, Breonna Taylor, but there's another aspect of this that's not being addressed. And so having gotten wind of some documents, as a lot of people have from here on, to talk about this incident, there's something that's being missed, okay? Insanity is repeating the same action and expecting a different outcome. And if that is the case, that's the definition of insanity by Albert Einstein, then what is emotional insanity? And a lot of these cases produce a lot of emotion because there is the narrative whether or not black people are being hunted and killed by police. There's the narrative, and then there's the actual occurrence of it. And there's a lot of things that could be discussed regarding that. We could talk about systemic racism and a whole bunch of other different things in terms of people's narratives and what agendas they choose to talk about and what roads they choose to go down. But there's a road that is often not traveled. And I want to play a video by the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, leader of the Nation of Islam. And he said something a long time ago. And you can tell by the age of the Honorable Minister when you see this video, and I think it's going to be important for what we're going to talk about. Let's go on ahead and play that. Here we go.
You see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall,
so
you and I
just paraphrase what he said.
are not free from that temptation, nor from the weakness that will cause us to stumble and fall. When you laugh at somebody else's fall, white or black, rich or poor, your enemy or your friend,
exempt from the things that cause us to fall. Okay, and I'll play the video again so you can hear his exact words. But when good men fall, or when men fall, don't laugh, learn. We're not done living. We're human. And we miss out on an opportunity when we don't listen or we don't learn from the good things or bad things or the tragedies or the things that cause a person to fall, be it that fall by death, be it that fall by career, whatever the case may be. We miss out on those learning opportunities. Okay. And when I was in the military, after every mission, regardless, after every mission, we would have an after-action review. What happened, what didn't happen, what was supposed to happen, lessons learned, things of that nature. Yeah, you've seen it before on YouTube, absolutely, okay? And so we're going to have an after-action review about this because there's a lot of things that's not being said about this case that needs to be addressed in the, I wouldn't say in the wake because the decision hasn't come out yet, but the decision will soon come out. And I'm afraid that it's going to be a decision that may cause more riots. It may cause more riots. It may cause more people to be upset. It may cause more people to believe that justice has not been served, or it may have the other side of that, you know, justice has been served because of an indictment or the returning of a grand jury true bill. Okay? And so we're going to talk about that. Look, three things could get in the way of understanding what I'm about to talk about. One is that people like to like what they hear instead of learning from what they've heard. And people, under that same argument, like to like who they hear it from, regardless of what's being said, instead of learning about what's being said. Second thing is that egos get very closely connected to a person's position on a given issue. General Colin Powell is known for saying this, that avoid having your ego so closely connected to your position. In any argument, that when your position falls, your ego falls with it. Dale Carnegie is known for saying that a person persuaded against his will maintains the same opinion still. So what is your will in these matters, right? Of course, we want all life, including black life, to matter. And to be mattered in essence by other people. Who doesn't want that, right? The African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. That proverb gets quoted a lot, but then there's another part of this quote that where it's missing a few things, right? A child not embraced by the village will burn it to feel its warmth. So what are these lessons? And so I begin to think, you know, I've been following this Breonna Taylor case rather closely, okay? At first, I wasn't involved with a couple of other things, but now I'm definitely following it rather closely. And so you hear the narrative of what's been putting out there. Breonna Taylor was shot by the police as she was, you know, asleep or, you know, a slumber in her bed, you know, that there were other situations taking place where, you know, the police just came in with malice aforethought and just killed her in her sleep. It's a little bit different than that. And so as a black father of 4 children, 3 of whom are girls, I love my kids. And so what do I, as a black father with 4 children, 3 of whom are girls, what do I tell my daughters about this Breonna Taylor situation, because that's the road least traveled that I don't hear and don't see in these situations. Tamir Rice had a lesson in that situation too. And so if the distraction is to get us to focus on what is obviously the emotions that are aroused from the tragic situation, are we missing the other lesson that could perhaps turn the tide on the repetitious nature of these situations that we find ourselves in, unfortunately? So let's look at it. So let's look at the facts of the case, because our village is burning. It's burning. Before we look at the facts of this case, we got to go to break. Okay. And so in going to break, we're going to come back and talk about that. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. What's in it for the Black People Radio Network with Triggered.
WIFTBPM. Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday, or you can find them online at solobeauty.com.
This secure moment is brought to you by Secure Home and Automation, your premier authorized Bring security dealer. Home invasions occur every 23 seconds, fire every 85 seconds, and medical emergencies occur suddenly. In times like these, get secured home and automation and an affordable wireless home alarm system with professional monitoring. This includes fast emergencies response, free security analysis, free equipment, and free installation. A limited time offer, be proactive. Call today, don't delay. 708-251-5069. That's 708-251-5069. Call now, 708-251-5069, or visit our website, securehomeandautomation.com. Secure Home and Automation, where your life safety is our priority. It brings authorized dealers, certain restrictions apply.
Hi, I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I'm running for U.S. Senate for the state of Illinois. I will never give up on inclusion and equality, prison reform, reduced property taxes, and economic opportunity for all. I want to get to know your neighborhood and the problem that you face every day. And I want to serve every man, woman, and child in the state of Illinois. A vote for me is a vote for you.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for Senate 2020.
What's up, good people? You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard. You'll never breed a warrior.
Warriors, come out to play.
Shh, you hear that? And that's what's happening at every angle. They're creating paradigms where we can only raise feminine men.
Yeah.
Whether they're homosexual or not, they feminine as shit.
Sure, because all masculinity is toxic.
All masculinity is toxic in a war-torn society where the dominant society is saying to your ass, we don't never want no warriors.
Right.
You bastards. Any book you've ever read, you can read the Bible, goddammit. When they go and they destroy some shit, they kill all the boy babies.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even want you growing up to think you're gonna do some shit to me.
Animals do the same thing. If I come over here and I take over this village now or whatever, like this gonna be my pride. First thing I'm doing, killing the male boys, like killing the male babies.
Don't you even grow up with that attitude,
Don't you even think about it.
Ever.
Okay?
Bitch.
Right. You ain't my daddy, you damn right I ain't your daddy. Fuck your fort, little nigga.
Fuck your fort.
Not my dad.
Oh man, I hate that I laugh at this shit in public.
That's real.
I hate that I laugh at this stuff in public.
That's real though, right? Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard live on What's in It for the Black People Media, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Is it really a good idea to have the same senator for 3 generations? I support term limit for all elected officials. Our senators need to bring home growth for our business community, jobs, housing, service for our senior citizens, and health care. We need new ideas and new approach to federal representation. I'm Dr. Willie Wilson. Vote for me and send me to Washington, D.C. God bless.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for Senate 2020.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday, or you can find them online at solobeauty.com.
Biggest threat to Illinois citizens from Washington is health care costs and policies. Senior citizens have their Social Security reduced from Medicaid, and some of our senior citizens live off $3 a week for food allowance. Working families are facing bankruptcy over policy and limit and costs. Drug prices require decisions between food and Medicaid. I'm Dr. Willie Wilson. Vote for me and send me to Washington. God bless.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for Senate 2020.
So, D-Ray, I wanted to ask you, so do you have a bad boy radio moment? Do you remember an event that you were at that we were hosting or something we did on the radio that really stayed with you?
Okay. Something y'all did on the radio that stayed with me was letting me get on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's true.
That was my step in the door. It was my opportunity to get into GCI, which I started working, you know, there. You guys got me on Sundays and all that stuff. And it introduced me to doing more characters because I would do characters on you guys' show. I don't even remember what the hell I was doing then, but you guys would just let me go, and that freedom didn't exist nowhere in radio.
Yeah, and it doesn't exist anymore, which is what we're starting to hear and we see when it comes to radio.
Chicago Famous, 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
WIIFTBPM.
Hey, what's good? This is Mike Love.
What's going on, y'all? It's the Diz
of Chicago Famous.
Come on.
That is the new version of us.
That's right. I mean, I know you all grew up on Bad Boy Radio, but keep in mind, we are now Chicago Famous.
And we are here at What's in It for the Black People Media, 3 to 6, Monday through Friday.
Starting September 8th, starting September 8th. Make sure you check us out.
WIIFTBPM.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio.
And so, my fellow Americans, I have a dream.
You're listening to Trigger.
You want to crown him? Then crown her ass. I ain't scared of you, mother.
The one and only
Mike Brown.
My calculations are correct.
Let's begin.
All right, we are back. My screen is kind of frozen. Yeah. Okay. You can see me? Okay. All right. So we are back with Triggered on What's in It for the Black People Radio Network. All right, we're going to go ahead and dive right into it. So what lessons are being missed from all of this? Let's talk about the facts of the case. And these come from leaked documents that were leaked in the case. Of course, those of you all who have followed it from the beginning, you know that the I want to say Las Vegas, it's so close, but the Louisville Metro Police Department was very tight-lipped about this case. And so that in and of itself brings a lot of suspicion as to, well, if everything was done right, why hadn't they said anything? In previous incidents where there had been shootings, the Louisville Metro Police Department, LMPD, they all wear body cameras for that matter. And so they're very quick about releasing the information in reference to any incident. Okay, and I've seen and I still have videos from some of their previous incidents as I use them in my class. But you don't see me? No. Okay, we'll continue. All right. In looking at this, if you want the link, you can always inbox me, Mike Brown or Instructor Mike, whatever the case may be. You know, we're having a break real quick. Okay. All right. We need to go to break. We need to because we have important announcements that need to be put on the air. And we'll be right back. So go get some pen and paper right now, and we'll be right back.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday, or you can find them online at solobeauty.com.
You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard.
Well, what was the power of the Bible? Most motherfuckers couldn't read. So the Bible legitimately changed the world because motherfuckers began to learn to read. And once I can learn to read, wait a minute, I can question some of this bullshit you talking
What school
about.
you go to, though?
It don't matter.
A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Well, no,
I went to Dunbar.
Yes!
That's how Dunbar. People disrespect the city schools. This Chicago. And I'm a motherfucking genius.
And it's on period.
Shout out to the mighty man. No, I'm just playing. But seriously though, think about it though, right? The Bible legitimately changed the world, right? What's up, good people? You're listening to I Said What I Said with Tucson Warner and Herb Howard live on What's in It for the Black People Media, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
The birthday line is, easily, or the birthday bash, whatever you want to call it.
Our hit record.
That's our hit record.
That's our hit record.
That's our one. That's my girl.
That's my girl by the Temptations.
Like,
no matter where we go, we gotta do that.
Ready to go down?
Yes, we are.
Come on, who's this on that birthday line?
It's Mandy and baby.
And how old are you on this day?
I'm 14, I'm 13.
Go ahead. It's your birthday. Go ahead.
Definitely let out twins.
Where y'all from? Where y'all from?
Out of B.
Bad boys gotta say about
I'd have been.
from WGCI. That's 3 down. 2 more.
Old
Got Bill on the
projects.
show called. It's your birthday. Go, 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 go. Now you look like I got a question.
Hey, she doing the question.
No more to go. Done with the show cause it's your birthday. Hey, let that play.
It took, man.
I'm tired just listening to that.
Chicago famous, 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
WIIFTBPM.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio.
And so, my fellow Americans, I have a dream.
You're listening to Trigger.
You want to crown him? Then crown her ass. I ain't scared of you, mother.
The one and only.
Mike Brown.
My calculations are correct.
Let's begin.
All right, we are back. All right, had a little bit of things we had to take care of there. And now we're good to go. All right, so these documents, and for those of you all who are just following us, don't forget to share this page, like this page. You're watching it on YouTube. Go on ahead and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications. If you're watching this on Facebook, share this, because that's also a part of what helps What's in It for the Black People Media Network keep up with the great content and create great content. Also, go on ahead and send those stars. We're not going to, again, we want you to support great content. That's how information is passed out. So let's get right to it. This report came as a result of the TatumReport.com, okay? And again, whether you like what you hear, learn from what you've heard, you may not like the source of where it came from, but it is, in fact, a source. And so in my experience in law enforcement, when you talk about certain types of crimes, they are all interwoven and all the type of webs that people weave. And so you hear the narrative, and by no means, no way, shape, form, or fashion are we trying to cast any disparaging remarks on Breonna Taylor, the soul. Breonna Taylor, I don't think she was a mother or not, but Breonna Taylor and the family. We're not trying to cast any disparaging remarks, but the facts are what they are. A person's behavior is what it is, and this is a narcotics case. And if anybody has ever watched things like The Wire, which is probably the closest, or even Power, is probably the closest thing you may get to seeing on TV how narcotics and narcotics investigations work. And so the documents came as a result of, they were leaked, okay, because of the narrative of Breonna Taylor being shot to death in her place, her apartment. The police had a no-knock warrant. They had what's going on, Herb? They had no reason to enter into her place. And so just with malice aforethought, these band of merry racist white cops just kicked in the wrong apartment. That was also a part of the narrative of what was pushed out there. They kicked into the wrong apartment and just, stormed in and shot her while she was asleep. And so that is not true. That's far from the truth. So let's dive into it. So I have on the screen here the documents that you can see. And of course, it's rather split screen, so you might have to do some adjusting on your end to be able to see it. But I'm going to read directly from there because, this reads like The Wire season 6. And, those of you all who ever watched The Wire, if you paid attention to The Wire religiously, as I did, just because of the realism of it, and how I was able to even to connect to some of the cases that I was involved in, and my partners were involved in too, is just very real. So 12/3/2016, LMPD homicide learned that a vehicle that was involved in a homicide of a Fernandez Bowman was found in and was a rental that had been rented by none other than Breonna Taylor. Okay, and so when you got that this is 2016. That then connects this vehicle and how it was rented, how you associate the rental of the vehicle and things like that to the decedent or the person who was killed. In homicide investigations, we tend to go with these homicide investigations in a funnel theory. What happened? Why did it happen? Which typically leads us to a who did it, because it is known in our communities that in open we don't snitch, but in that interrogation room, a lot of people snitch. So when people are pushed against or put their back against a corner, they will tell the tale. Okay. So they go to Breonna Taylor's address listed as 3003 Springfield Drive, number 4, Louisville, Kentucky. And you will hear this address multiple times throughout this. You know, when I got this, I had to stop what I was doing and just continue to read it, because the information in here was just, I don't want to say good, but it was good enough for an investigation. And they went to Miss Taylor, and they talked about how she didn't know the victim, and that Jamarcus Glover, who was the main target and who appears to be, if this was a RICO case, RICO is short for Racketeering Influence Corrupt Organizations Act. It's the federal law that a lot of your drug kingpins and mobsters were tried under and given life sentences and things like that. If this were a RICO case, if it had been that big, Jamarcus would be the head of it. Okay. And Breonna Taylor, while she played a little bit more than a small but a nonviolent part in the criminal conspiracy of this organization, she was definitely an active proponent of the activities therein. Okay. We continue in to, let me go to the next page real quick. So, 1/3/2017, Breonna Taylor posts bond for Jamarcus Glover on 2 different pending cases. Now, posting bond for a person is not a criminal act, okay? It is not a criminal act. But if you're talking about an assets investigation in narcotics, where you got the money from is always one of the questions that tends to be, you know, it doesn't stop you from posting bond in certain cases, but it is a question that is often raised. Where did you acquire this amount of money, especially on someone's salary who is an emergency medical technician for the same city that is conducting the investigation against you? So you couldn't even lie about your main source of income, given that you know you're getting it from the city of Louisville as an EMT, if that's what she was doing at the time of this investigation, which she was. All right, so continuing in, the First Division executed, this is 12/30 of 2019, the First Division executed simultaneous search warrants at an address of 2424 Elliott Avenue, a couple of other addresses, Muhammad Ali Boulevard, and arrested in that were Adrian Walker, Rashawn Lee, Darrell Forrest, and Jamarcus Glover. This arrest warrant was served on January 3rd, 2020. Now, someone is asking, what does that have to do with her getting shot and sleeping? That's a part of the problem. That's a part of the problem. We want to hurry up and rush to the end instead of dissecting. And the devil is in the details. These details are very important to talk about, because it's going to show that something was in her, the inside of her, and she saw red flags, right? We got jailhouse calls. I'm getting to that. But you saw the red flags that showed that she wasn't feeling easy about something, but she just didn't act on that information. And we're going to learn about Kenneth Walker, her new boyfriend, just acquired probably within 2 months, who had been in the house at the time of the raid, where when the police kicked in the door, and they didn't even know it was the police at the time, Kenneth Walker shot first, as I would have. Okay, I'm just telling you, letting you know. He shot first. And so that triggered the exchange of gunfire that resulted in Breonna getting killed. So let's talk about that. Because while there's a settlement in the civil case, that may not rise to the level of criminality. Okay, so don't get surprised. Okay, I'm kind of putting the cart before the horse here. Okay, the place-based investigation team selected their first microcell location, with the parameters being, so I'm just going to paraphrase some of this stuff. Long and short of it, they picked an area that was hot for narcotics activity based upon previous complaints of narcotics activity, previous case reports of certain crimes having been committed, robberies, thefts, controlled buys, things like that. And so they decided to put up what's called a poll camera. Now, different law enforcement agencies conduct different ways of surveillance, okay? Some may use actual people. In fact, we all use actual people, but sometimes it's hard to hide certain places. And so with the advancements of technology, you're able to use certain devices and keep the eyeball or keep the eye on certain places. And so 2424 Elliott was one of those places where, and I went on ahead and switched the screen here, where on 1/2 of 20, the place-based investigation team, here we go. The place-based investigation team installed that poll camera and saw a black Dodge Charger approached the address of 2424 Elliott, where Jamarcus Glover exited the vehicle. And you see the pictures on the screen right here. They're rather small, but if you want the link, I'll provide you the information if you're truly interested in learning the facts of the case. Okay. And guess who the vehicle was registered to? Breonna Taylor. Say less, maybe? No, let's continue. Okay. So then there are the jailhouse phone calls. I want you to understand that when you call someone in the Department of Corrections, those calls are subject to monitoring and they are definitely being recorded. So let's continue. 1/3 of 2020. You got Jay Glover calls Breonna Taylor. They redact the number because obviously that's, in personal information. And, call Doug, who is Adrian Walker, on Facebook and see where the fuck Doug is. He's got my fucking money, and I'm not going to censor any language. I'm just going to go on ahead and say it. Riding around with my motherfucking car, and he isn't even where he's supposed to be. Moving on. Breonna Taylor says, you said Doug? Yeah, Big Doug. I'll call him. Why can't I find him on Facebook? What's his name? Michi Walker. Okay. Continuing on. You talked to Doug? Yeah, I did. He said he's already back from the trap. And this is Breonna talking, right? Already back from the trap. And then I talked to him again just a minute ago to see if you had contacted him. They couldn't post the bond until 1. Just be ready on standby to come get me. Love you. Love you. Mwah. The kiss wasn't in there. I just added that, okay? Because that's how we talk to people we love, right? And again, this is on, what's the date? 1/3 of 2020. She was killed or shot and killed March 13th, 2020, right? So in this, right, how long had Kenneth Walker known Breonna Taylor? That's a pivotal question, because it is true. If you don't pay attention to who you're dating, the person that you're dating can bring you into some stuff you don't know anything about. Kenneth Walker could have been facing a charge of attempted murder of a police officer. He's not facing that charge now, but while you're fighting for justice, what about you? Okay, let's continue. Jay Glover then calls Breonna from booking. I'll come get you. Strike that. I'll come get some rest in your bed. Breonna's like, Jamarcus, what, you don't want me in your bed? I didn't say that. I haven't really been sleeping right either. I keep waking up every hour on other hour type shit. Jay Glover says to Breonna, checking on me, I want you to know I appreciate it. Here is a pivotal thing that's a red flag that Breonna didn't even pay attention to. When you're around, I stress more because I just always be worried about you. Not like with you, and bitches and shit, but just period, with the police, all kinds of shit. And shit, gotta add that on there. So what do you work? You're losing sleep over this guy. You know about these activities. And I've said it before, right? This Breonna Taylor isn't nothing new. How many ladies are out there right now? How many of you people watching have children, daughters that you know of is associated with someone who they should not be associated with, and you tried and tried and tried, and I say again, tried and tried and tried again to tell them, hey, I see these red flags, but they chose to go their own way. Now, I remember of a situation on 55th and State Street, right by that gas station, is 1 block west of there, where a young man and a young lady were shot and killed in that car. Wasn't by the police, it was by his ops. And there was no mention at all of, yeah, if you want the link, inbox me at Mike Brown. I'll send you the link, right? There's no mention of, well, hey, let's go on ahead and really try to reach out to our young ladies and see what, if anything, we should do or can do to change maybe the choice motivators. We talked about that last week, the choice motivators that cause them to associate themselves with maybe good-hearted people, but people who are involved in activity that could result in their demise. Okay? We're going to go ahead and go on a break, and we're going to come back and talk about this because I got eyes looking at me. Shouts out to Herb Howard and Tucson Warner. I said what I said, and he's here saying what he's saying. We'll be right back with Trigger with Mike Brown. Don't go anywhere.
WIFTBPM.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday, or you can find them online at solobeauty.com.
Is it really a good idea to have the same senator for 3 generations? I support term limit for all elected officials. Our senators need to bring home growth for our business community, jobs, housing, service for our senior citizens, and health care. We need new ideas and new approach to federal representation. I'm Dr. Willie Wilson. Vote for me and send me to Washington, D.C. God bless.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for Senate 2020.
WIFTBPM.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio.
And so, my fellow Americans, I have a dream.
You're listening to Trigger.
You want to crown him? Then crown her ass. I ain't scared of you, mother.
The one and only.
Mike Brown. Mike Brown.
My calculations are correct.
Let's begin.
All right, we're back. We're back. Yes. Now, there was a question that was, for those of you all who just coming in, we're talking about the Breonna Taylor case, and we're talking about the settlement. Not so much about the settlement, but that's news that just came out today that the city of Louisville is settling, potentially settling the case, the civil case of Breonna Taylor, the 26-year-old black female who was shot and killed by Louisville Metro Police Department detectives as they entered her apartment pursuant to a search warrant. Okay. And one comment that was just put on, kind of screen, I'm kind of looking at the comments here and there, is that so we're putting the deceased on trial. And that is a very valid question because that's exactly what happens in criminal cases. There is a theory in criminology. It's called victim precipitation. Okay. And so some people call it victim blaming. It's victim precipitation. When the victim puts themselves, or a potential victim, conducts themselves in certain ways or conducts certain activities that makes it likely for them to become a victim of crime. Okay? And so we can't ignore that. I'll tell you, I victim blame. Not all the time, but I victim blame. Why? Because as an educator, my job is to help you unfuck your fuck. And if I don't help you see where you're fucked, you're not going to unfuck it, and you're just going to get fucked again by somebody way worse, and it's going to result in your death, and no one else will learn from this incident that clearly, right, clearly, the signs are right there, and you should see it, but you're not paying attention, okay? And so it's important to note, back on these documents, it's important to note that Breonna Taylor, that number was called. They had been talking to each other 48 times from the jail. And we'll continue in with these documents. You look at it, 1/10 of 2020, the I keep wanting to say Las Vegas. Maybe it's time for a vacation. I don't know. I guess. But the Louisville Metro Police Department tech unit installed a GPS tracker on that red Dodge Charger. Why? Because as they were following, when we tend to follow vehicles and things like that, they were following this vehicle, but this vehicle was smart enough to conduct heat checks. Just turning different areas, running lights, running stop signs, which would have been an obvious dead giveaway to trigger whether or not the police is following you. And so after doing that, they had to prove exhaustion. In other words, we tried all kind of human means to be able to talk to people, sit at a distance with a listening device, listen to them, do confidential informant investigations, things like that, and we have exhausted all means. We have to go to Title III wiretaps or go to all other kinds of methods to track this person. So they were able to get a GPS tracking device on her Dodge Charger, and they were able to show, and the map is on the screen, that she had visited certain places that were identified by the police investigations unit as the trap house, where narcotics are sold, money is sold, things like that. And so, you continue in with the PBI detectives. This is on the 16th. Observed that Jamarcus Glover, operating the red 2017 Dodge Charger, registered to Breonna Taylor, pulled up and parked in front of 3003 Springfield Drive. And the PBI detectives then observed, and you'll see some pictures in the next screen, but they then observed Jamarcus Glover walk directly into apartment number 4. And after a short period of time, he comes back out, and they observe him having a suspected United States Postal Service package in his right hand. They took the photographs. Those photographs are attached, and then they drove straight to 2605 West Muhammad Ali Boulevard. See, I want you to understand, this isn't like, where you see one car that's potentially following. When we're doing a follow case, we may have 5 vehicles on you. And so we're in communication with each other. May not always be on the air because we know you have a scanner. But we're doing where you may turn, we don't turn. A vehicle some ways back may turn, pick up the eyeball. We got somebody in the area watching, sitting there. They pick it up. Another car picks it up. They're not marked cars or unmarked cars like your Crown Vics or your Police Interceptor packages. They're not that. We know you see that. We get XXL magazine too. We know what y'all put out there. We pay attention. How do you think we catch you? Right? You call cops corrupt. That's a subjective issue, right? Where do you think some of them come from? They were in the streets. They just didn't get convicted. You don't want to talk about that, though. Okay, so we know. So they followed her to 2605 West Muhammad Ali Boulevard, another known trap house. Okay, and through physical surveillance, PBI detectives had observed numerous short stays between pedestrian and vehicle, all indicators of past proven narcotics trafficking. And Jamarcus Glover, as well as his associates, come and go from that location. Look at the pictures. I just put them on the screen. You can't get no clearer than that. The eyeball. Let's take the focus off the police just for a quick minute. What if your ops was watching you, fool? Come on now. When you're involved in the narcotics trade, you got enemies on all ends. You got those who can't stand that you're making money. You got those who feel that they are the better connect, right? You got those who maybe you're messing with somebody's girl. I'm telling you, you got ops from all angles, not just the police. I could see this kind of stuff in a murder investigation where we uncover that your ops were watching you and picked you at a time where you were least vulnerable after all, or you were most vulnerable. A smart enemy attacks you where you think you're safe. I'm just saying. Here we go. And so at this point in the investigation, the PBI learned that the GPS tracker, the red 2017 Dodge Charger, again, registered to Breonna, made a trip to Biloxi, Mississippi, where Jamarcus Glover once resided and had ties to narcotics trafficking within Mississippi. Do you think they weren't going to investigate? Law enforcement is a brotherhood. They're going to find a way to connect your past to your present. Because people, especially in narcotics, creatures of habit. Because there's only so many places you can set up shop. There's only so many places you can go to, which is why I don't understand why people get into foot chases. I'm not chasing shit. Where you coming to? Back where you know. Okay? 2/6 of 2020, PBI detectives submitted a grand jury subpoena for Jamarcus Glover, Adrian Walker, and Kiera Bradley, which is Jamarcus's child's mother, and she's going to be pivotal in the jailhouse conversation that comes up next, because you're going to hear, I'm not going to blow it. Here we go. Let's keep going. They go for their bank records with Chase. And I'm going to tell you, grand jury subpoenas for it was called subpoena ducis tecum. I think I'm saying it right. It's just pretty much Latin for in order to produce the records. It doesn't always come fast. It depends on the exigent nature of the case. And sometimes homicides may rush it, but if it's narcotics, they may slow it down. So it's going to be just about a month before they actually get these records. Okay. And so they get more poll cameras. 2/13/2020. I'm telling you, how many of y'all are saying in your mind, when you walk through the garden, watch your back? This is The Wire season 6. We're not making fun of Breonna's death. I'm just talking about the facts of the case. Here we go. 2/13/2020, approximately 14:27 for all you non-military folks. Yeah, that's a GBA, guilty by association. I hate to say it, Cassandra, you're right. PBI detectives observed through the poll camera Jamarcus Glover operating another Dodge Charger. How many Dodge Chargers do she have? This is the black Dodge Charger. Plate KY442 Zebra Nora, or ZZN. Pull in front of 2424 Elliott Avenue and go inside the residence. The vehicle is registered to Breonna Taylor. I just wanted to see if my mic was on. Breonna Taylor. 3003 Springfield Drive. I mean, how many times you going to put stuff in your name and think they're not going to connect it to you? Right? And that's what these guys get these ladies to do. For the good price of sausage. You know what I'm talking about. You, too, can not only get the money, but, bae, put this in my name if you want that good. Fuck, you want to lie? You want the truth? Here we go. Approximately 14:30 hours, PBI detectives observed Breonna Taylor get out of the passenger side of the vehicle and look around for a few seconds before she gets back in. At approximately 14:32, PBI detectives observe Jamarcus, she liked them fast cars, nice. Jamarcus Glover exit 2424 Elliott Avenue and get back in the vehicle and pull off eastbound. Creatures of habit, you know where you're going, back to the crib. Oh, there's her vehicle right there. There's her vehicle right there from the pole camera that you don't see. The pole camera that you don't see. Man, we're almost there, you all. We're almost there to that fatal March 13th date. We're going to be talking about that shortly. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Instructor Mike on Triggered.
WIFTBPM.
This secure moment is brought to you by Secure Home and Automation, your premier authorized Bring security dealer. Home invasions occur every 23 seconds, fire every 85 seconds, and medical emergencies occur suddenly. In times like these, get secured home and automation and an affordable wireless home alarm system with professional monitoring. This includes fast emergencies response, free security analysis, free equipment, and free installation. A limited time offer, be proactive. Call today, don't delay. 708-251-5069. That's 708-251-5069. Call now, 708-251-5069, or visit our website, securehomeandautomation.com. Secure Home and Automation, where your life safety is our priority. It brings authorized dealers. Certain restrictions apply.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday, or you can find them online at solobeauty.com.
What's up, good people? You're listening to I Said What I Said with Tucson Warner and Herb Howard.
You'll never breed a warrior.
Warriors, come out to play.
You hear that? And that's what's happening at every angle. They're creating paradigms where we can only raise feminine men. Whether they're homosexual or not, they feminine as shit.
Sure, because all masculinity is toxic.
All masculinity is toxic in a war-torn society where the dominant society is saying to your ass, we don't never want no warriors.
Right.
You bastards. Any book you've ever read, you can read the Bible, goddammit. When they go and they destroy some shit, they kill all the boy babies.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even want you growing up to think you're going to do some shit to me.
Animals do the same thing. If I come over here and I take over this village now or whatever, like this gonna be my pride. First thing I'm doing, killing the male boys, like killing the male babies.
Don't you even grow up with that attitude,
Don't you
little
even think about it.
Ever.
Okay?
Bitch.
Right. You ain't my daddy, you damn right I ain't your daddy. Fuck your fort, little nigga.
Fuck your fort.
You're not my dad.
That's fucked up. Oh man, I hate that I laugh at this shit in public.
That's real.
I hate that I laugh at this stuff in public.
That's real though, right? Tucson Warner and Herb Howard live on What's in It for the Black People Media, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
The birthday line is, easily, or the birthday bash, whatever you want to call it.
Our hit record.
That's our hit record.
That's our hit record.
That's our one. That's my girl.
That's My Girl by the Temptations.
Like,
Like no matter where we go, we gotta do that.
Ready to go down? Yes, we are.
Come on, who's on that birthday line?
It's ready, baby.
And how old are you on this day?
I'm 13.
Go ahead. It's your birthday. Go ahead. Definitely let out twins. Where y'all from? Where y'all from? Bad boy, gonna say about Ida B. From WGCI. That's 3 days. Two more projects. Still on the show called It's Your Birthday. Go, 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 go. Question. Hey, she doing the question. No more to go. With the show called It's Your Birthday.
Hey, let that play.
took there.
I'm tired just listening to that.
Chicago famous. 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
WIIFTVPN.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio.
And so, my fellow Americans, I have a dream.
You're listening to Trigger.
You want to crown him? Then crown her ass. I ain't scared of you, mother.
The one and only.
Mike Brown.
My calculations are correct.
Let's begin.
All right, welcome back. Trigger with Instructor Mike. I am your host, Instructor Mike. Don't forget that if you are looking for great intellectual conversation that just opens up the mind to a lot of the things that are definitely pivotal for black folks to learn, go on ahead and make sure that you tune in to Salim Muwakil's World. Muwakil's World now on What's in It for the Black People Radio or Media Network, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. only on What's in It for the Black People Media Network. All right, let's dive right into it. Continuing in with this unfortunate situation. Okay, and we've been talking about the Breonna Taylor case, the city of now it's Louisiana. We gotta get my L's. Gotta get the L's. First it was Las Vegas. Now it's Louisiana. Are they talking about me? I don't know. That's crazy. Let's continue. The city of Louisville is settling the civil case in the wrongful death suit of Breonna Taylor. And so what we've been talking about the past hour is the lessons that have not been learned from these shootings, from these situations. Of course, you got the outrage and the desire to want to seek justice, but have we really been getting anything as a village from these outcries? Except people who are going out there, they're burning calories. They're sweating and getting into skirmishes with police, and some are catching police records, or at least they used to catch police records until the police just started just corralling folks and just letting them stay there and just letting them destroy stuff. You know, they're not. What are we getting from that? Because it's not stopping. They are not going to. The police investigations are not going to stop. You know. The interactions with police are not going to stop. So what's the road less traveled? And that's why we've been talking about the Breonna Taylor case, because, you know, the last show on Trigger, we talked about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We talked about the levels, and I'll go on ahead and show that on the screen. We talked about those levels that need to be addressed. Those levels that need to be addressed. I'll put it up on, there we go. Put it on the screen. There we go. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, your physiological needs, your safety needs, love and belonging, you know, self-actualization, and then esteem needs. And so, you know, it's easy to talk about rational choice theory when we're talking about the choices that a person makes. A choice makes. And, you know, usually in rational choice theory, you've got option A, option B, and then a person chooses option B, and that's where we typically leave it. You knew what you were choosing when you looked at these options and you chose this particular route. You knew what road you wanted to go down, but we don't look at what motivates a person to feel that this road is a road that is better than the road less traveled. And so why is it better to just continuously talk about the police? Don't get me wrong, we need to, right? They are in great need of reform, but can we make the admission that in certain cases we are in need of reform too? That if it takes a village to raise a child, then why are all of our villages burning? Because of the second proverb that, you know, a child not embraced by that village is going to burn it to feel its warmth. And you know how we're also contributing to that burning by not teaching lessons. What happened to the after the ass whooping? Let me sit down and, or if there should even be one, let me sit down and talk to you about this incident and what made you choose this way, and if that was even me. How many of you are watching YouTube, Facebook, listening? How many of you are bold enough to even say, I could be, or in fact am the reason why my child chose this road? It takes a lot of guts. That takes a lot of guts to really make that admission. It takes a lot of guts. And so let's get back to the case with Breonna Taylor, because we're going to get to that fateful day, March 13th, 2020. But on February 14th, 2020, Officer Corey Evans of the 1st Division of the Louisville Metro Police Department told a 2017 Dodge Charger, again registered to Taylor, Jamarcus came in and tried to file a complaint. Again, they're showing the continuous registry of this stuff to Breonna. 2/14/20, PBI detectives received the financial records of Jamarcus Glover's bank records from Chase Bank, and Jamarcus used the address of 3003 Springfield Drive, apartment 4, Louisville, Kentucky, as his mailing address. So I'm going to tell you, as the previous affiant on the search warrant, okay, I've written search warrants and been before judges and been before state's attorneys to get search warrants approved. You know, it's an easy process if you have your ducks in a row, but if you don't have your ducks in a row, it's not an easy process. But with all of this evidence laid before you, okay, all this evidence that's laid before you, the state's attorney would have no choice, in essence, but to approve that search warrant. And that's one of the reforms that was suggested in this civil case, is that commanders approve search warrants before they go to the state's attorney or the district attorney, and before they go before the judge as the affiant, swearing to the facts or what was discovered in this particular case. Going to commanders isn't going to do anything to bring any reform, because that's kind of what we do anyway when we go to the state's attorney and have them look at the facts in this case, because most state's attorneys, I wouldn't say all of them, but most of them, especially if they love what they do, they want an ironclad case. They want to win the case before the case even gets before the court. And so with all this information, with all the pictures, with all the and this isn't even all of the information, this is just what was committed in writing, right? Are you sure you want to listen to the jailhouse calls? Got a few more to talk about here too. Are you sure you want to watch the videos? Are you sure you want to see Breonna, sweet, beautiful, black woman, engaged in this activity? That's the truth that some people just don't want to look at or listen to. So here we are, fateful day, March 13th, 2020. PBI detectives, place-based investigation, for those of you all who are just joining in, place-based investigation detectives, and my guess would be these are the detectives that are great at surveillance. I want you to understand that when someone says they've worked narcotics, even as I have, okay, some people are good with buy bust. In other words, they're good at playing the role of looking like the part of a drug dealer, so that the person who wants to buy drugs from them will buy into, yeah, this is a bona fide drug dealer. Let me get whatever, A-ball, whatever I want to get from them, I can get from them based upon their persona and how they portray themselves. Not everyone in narcotics or narcotics divisions are able to portray those parts. And so you have different elements. You got those, even if you watch The Wire, and I'm going to refer to that because I don't know how many of you all remember Presbeluski, okay? He wasn't good for a buy bust, his white self. They would have made him for an op or for a narc any day. But he was good at being a case agent. He was good at listening to The Wire. He was good at connecting the puzzles to the piece and things like that. And narcotics often deals in deception. Sometimes it's open market, okay? Sometimes it's, closed, where they're talking in code, and you see some of that through these conversations and calls where you're able to connect what the codes mean, what the names mean, things like that. And so that's the place-based investigation detectives. Some people who are good at surveillance, good at hiding in plain and covert sight, okay? The place-based detectives with the assistance of other criminal interdiction division detectives. And that's where these three detectives came from, who exchanged the gunfire that resulted in Breonna Taylor's death. Okay, the SWAT team executed simultaneous search warrants. When we hit a house, and when we got the information for all the trap houses, we're not hitting them one by one. We know how communication works. We're gonna hit you when you least expect it. We're gonna hit you with smoothness, speed, and violence of action. Why? There are plenty of cases and plenty of incidents where cops have been shot on search warrants. I remember one case myself where we had what we buy bust everything, buy money, everything. So many buy busts we had done. I'm doing surveillance, and I'm also the case agent too, putting the things together. So many buy busts we had done. We got it. But then our CI flips on us. Confidential informant. So he then tells, we learned this later, he then tells the person that was the target of the investigation what we were about to do. He just didn't know when we were going to do it. And when we hit multiple houses simultaneously, we didn't get much out of there, but we got the buy money. We got the little drugs that were left around and stuff like that. Still was able to produce a good search warrant. Still was able to produce an active assets investigation. Still was able to stop that one person. It wasn't that particular investigation I'm referring to wasn't a high-level, multi-level narcotics operation. It was kind of a little above a small level, but it was enough. Because the weight they were moving out of that place was enough where had the CI not flipped, we would have recovered a large amount of narcotics. But having seen this and having lived it and looking at this stuff, I'm like, yeah, I can see why a judge approved a no-knock. And typically, our search warrant, the one I'm referring to in that case, wasn't a no-knock. It was one where you had to knock and announce. But with the way that we knock and announce, between the word police and the bat and the ram hitting your door, you wouldn't even be able to respond fast enough. You got flashbangs and other type of distractionary devices and other type of points of entry and stuff like that. So trying to destroy the evidence, depending upon the structure of where the trap house is, becomes a little bit difficult. Okay, it becomes a little bit difficult. But in this case, simultaneous search warrants, right, happens at the address of 2424 Elliott, 2425 Elliott, and 2426 Elliott, and 3003 Springfield Drive. Now, why would they be going in Brianna's house, right? There's nothing to suggest, or so they say, that narcotics is in this place. Remember the pictures that I showed you where they saw Jamarcus, red Dodge Charger, coming out from that apartment with a USPS package. Short in, short out, visit. Remember the conversations that they had in the jail that shows that there was a relationship. So why such the short visit continuously? That's all the evidence that they need. All the evidence that they need to be able to say, yes, it is possible for narcotics to be in this place. I want you to understand, if you don't know anything about the criminal justice system, sometimes people say, well, you're creating a narrative. You're creating this. Look, say what you will. The pictures are 1,000 words, and the videos that come from the pictures are even worth more. And so if this case with the officers getting arrested goes to trial, please believe, if we're talking about a probative versus prejudicial argument, this is definitely probative into the matter as to why these officers chose this particular address. It's probative. It may be prejudicial to the person who was shot and killed, but they're not necessarily on trial. The people who exchanged the shots are, right? So, 3003 Springfield, apartment 4. During a search of 2424 Elliott, PBI detectives were able to recover a large amount of suspected crack cocaine and suspected fentanyl pills inside of a Crown Royal bag. You know we got to put it inside of a box. Crown Royal or some Douce. I'm just playing. I don't know if that's true. That's sometimes true. That shit's true. All right, moving on. Here we go. In a Crown Royal bag in a tree in the backyard of the property that was hidden in order to avoid detection from law enforcement. You think we don't see the false bottom iced tea can that you have? You think we don't visit the spy shops that you visit to have the fake electric socket where you hide your narcotics? You think we don't know that drywall and in between the space of the wood beams, there's areas for you to stack brick on brick on brick? You think we don't know that? You think we don't learn like a football team learns from the previous plays of a football game where people hide things? We know that. You ain't doing shit new. You think we don't know that you hide the 8-ball in your girl's vagina? You think we don't know that you hide the crack rock in your ass? You think we don't know that? We see you in plain sight because you don't give a shit. We see you. Moving on. K9 Maverick alerted on the bag containing the narcotics. Okay, containing the narcotics. We're going to read more into this because I got to get to these phone calls. I got to get to these phone calls because you're going to see them talking about this, and that's going to be pivotal. That's going to be pivotal. We'll be right back. What's in it for the black people? Triggered with Mike Brown.
WIFTBPM.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday, or you can find them online at solobeauty.com.
Cootie Simmons, of course. I just knew you as Cootie, you know,
Right.
from Channel Zero.
I mean, that's how we know him. We just know him as Cootie.
Now let's talk about this joint that you guys recently dropped. You directed the Stephon Marbury documentary, A Kid from Coney Island, that's on Netflix right now.
When they came to us about the project, I was like, Stephon Marbury, you know, I'm thinking Tim Hardaway. I'm like, man, Marcus Liberty. I'm like, Stephon, I
Still Chicago.
don't know New York. I don't know Stephon. Right, I'm thinking, exactly. I know how to tell a Chicago story good, you know.
Chicago famous, 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Boys, step aside. The radio rookie is in the building. The Book of Dawn, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on What's in It for the Black People Media.
You can expect the unexpected.
We're getting pushed up to 200. Let's get these numbers up, people. Come on. We're trying to compete with Mays Jackson numbers, right?
Don't forget,
we're lacking right now.
If you share it,
share the video so we can get our numbers. For God's sake, we're nowhere near Mays Jackson numbers. If we can get you guys to share, we can at least push 200 in the next 3 minutes. All right? By 3:45, I want us to be at 200.
Oh, yeah. This is the black
There's
portion
no
of What's
other
in It for
way
the Black People Radio
that we
right
can
here.
do the
This
dime.
is the black portion, the blackest portion of the show.
It's What's in It for the Black People Media.
Chicago famous, 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Biggest threat to Illinois citizens from Washington is health care costs and policies. Senior citizens have their Social Security reduced from Medicaid. And some of our senior citizens live off $3 a week for food allowance. Working families are facing bankruptcy over policy and limit and costs. Drug prices require decision between food and Medicaid. I'm Dr. Willie Wilson. Vote for me and send me to Washington. God bless.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for Senate 2020.
WIFTVPN. Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio.
And so, my fellow Americans, I have a dream.
You're listening to Trigger.
You want to crown him? Then crown her ass. I ain't scared of you, mother.
The one and only.
Mike Brown.
My calculations are correct.
Let's begin.
All right, we're back. Trigger with Mike Brown. What's in It for the Black People Media Network. Just want to send shouts out to Maze. This is an amazing platform to be able to talk about this stuff, you know. And my job is to trigger you with this conversation. And for those of you all who are just joining us, we're going back to the Breonna Taylor case because while we should be sad for the fact that she did lose her life in the manner in which she lost it, because deserve, I don't want to say deserve it's not about deserve. It's not about deserve, but it's about sometimes you put yourself in the arena for things to happen. I teach it all the time in my concealed carry classes, and we'll talk about concealed carry in a minute, but I talk about that proxemics. You may want to whoop my ass, but I got to be close enough for you to do it, right? You may want to shoot me, but that bullet has a maximum effective distance and a range, right? You may want to do something, but you have to be in the area for that thing to be done. And so what, if anything, should I teach my 3 black girls as a black father of 4 children, 3 of whom are girls? My son too, but what should I teach my black girls about this Breonna Taylor case? Should I teach them that, yes, your father and those who value your life and other people who may not even know you are going to protest your death? Why is it we wait to learn lessons after someone dies? Everybody evaluates the importance of life at the fucking funeral. Why is that? Well, it didn't even have to go down that way. No fucking shit. How many times have you tried to tell your loved ones, those of you watching on YouTube and Facebook, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications for great content, not just from me, but from other people on this network, because you know here you're going to hear those uncomfortable conversations. How many times have you told somebody, baby, you might want to watch out. This doesn't look good. It doesn't sound good. Well, I know what I'm doing. And then when the shit happens, I tried to tell you. Let's continue looking at this because we're going to get to these phone calls. Because there's some interesting conversations that occurs between Jamarcus Glover and the mother of his child. Interesting conversations that occurs that you will hear Jamarcus and what he felt about Breonna in the wake of her passing. Yeah, that shit. Just when you think that the guy you with is loyal, there might be some other shit that you need to pay attention to. Because when you gone and you of no use to that person, people are only as loyal as their options. Please believe that. So what should I tell my daughters? You all tell me. Let's move on. Jamarcus Glover. The PBI detectives also noticed a large amount of U.S. currency, digital scales, and other evidence of narcotics trafficking within the residence. Pictures were taken of an attempt to destroy suspected cocaine by placing it inside of the toilet tank in the residence. That's the number one place we definitely going to, trying to distract you from, because that's the easiest way. I'm going to say it. It's the easiest way to get rid of evidence. The toilet. I'm just saying. Dude. I'm just saying. Here we go. Pictures taken of it, right? The firearms were recovered and from the glove box of a beige 2001 Crown Vic. And one firearm was recovered from a gap to the right of the front porch steps of the vacant house 2426 Elliott. There's been times I've seen empty houses used, obviously, as trap houses and places where things are stored. That is happening right now. It's a trap house probably near you as you're watching this. Okay? Here we go. When the search, Jamarcus Glover, Demarius Bowman, Rayshawn Lee, and Alicia Jones were located at 2424 Elliott at the same time the search warrants were executed. PBI detectives were able to seize all of these individuals' cell phones and execute search warrants on them. PBI detectives also located an LG&E bill, okay, probably electric bill, from inside the residence of 2424 Elliott that had Adrian Walker's name on it. That's another thing that we look for, okay? Something inside of the residence to show that you live there or that the target of the investigation gets mail there, okay? When the search warrant was executed at 3003 Springfield Drive, number 4, which Breonna Taylor was listed on, an officer-involved shooting occurred, and as a result, Breonna Taylor was killed. Present inside of the apartment at the time of the search warrant executed was Breonna Taylor and Kenneth Walker. The Public Integrity Unit responded to the scene and took over the investigation. Okay. And then they also had a search warrant for the 2605 West Muhammad Ali Boulevard address, but they weren't able to serve it because there was so many places they needed to hit. We've seen that before too. Now, these are the phone calls between Jamarcus Glover and the mother of his children, or his child, Kiara Bradley. Kiara Bradley calls, well, doesn't call, but when she picks up, Kiara to Jamarcus, "Chop, that girl got killed over you." That's the first thing said. Not the ops, not the police killed her. That girl got killed over you. Now, usually, when I'm interrogating someone, there's various methods of interrogation. It depends on how you feel that one person that's on the other side of that table. Some people you're able to extract information by pissing them off. Because when you take them from the prefrontal cortex, that part that controls the, logic, reasoning, the ability to be able to analyze questions when it comes in, to pick the right answer. When you piss a person off, that transfers from the prefrontal cortex to the amygdala, the part of the brain that controls fight, flight, freeze, and emotions. Some people are able to regulate their anger and be confident in the facts of the case or what they know or how they handle pressure. Some people are not. And usually when you get a person angry and they say that shit, or when they're drunk, that's usually what they mean. That's usually what they mean. And give me a motherfucker who cusses a lot. I'm going to get the truth out of that person. Because cussing is usually associated with the truth. I don't give a fuck. All right, here we go. So, Chop, that girl got killed over you. Why would you say that shit, though? All my mail and shit, my mail and shit, that ain't got nothing to do with Bree's house. Yeah, but no, remember, you had that bank statement in that other box, and you leave that shit behind for them to hit your house and that putting 2 and 2 together. Come on, Chop, the way you move, period. How many times your baby mama done told you about something about you, but you don't want to listen? Right? I ain't saying she always right. I ain't saying he always right. But I'm just saying, come on. Dude told me the first time, dude told me I just seen you live your, pretty much Kiara was talking about why they had not hit her house. Well, they hadn't hit her house because they had not seen him go to that house. And Jamarcus even says that. So she wasn't the subject of the investigation. Now, our wonderful friend on Facebook says that girl got killed over overly aggressive policing. I'm so glad you said that, because I'm going to get to one part right here in the phone call where, here we go. This is with an unknown female referring to the officer-involved shooting investigation at Springfield Drive. He, Kenneth Walker, said, and this is to Jamarcus, this is on the phone call, what happened? He said motherfuckers knocked on the door, but he didn't know who he was or who it was. They asked who it is, but nobody say nothing. He then said they kicked the door and he bocked on them. Now, I had to put some emphasis on that bock, because what does that mean? That's the sound of the gun after it's fired. He said they started shooting back and Bree was in the hallway and she caught bullets. That's what happened. I can almost guarantee you that's what happened. Kenneth made the admission, and his admission is what got him free from those charges of attempted murder against a police officer. It looked like a home invasion, so he was justified in his shooting. Anybody who was in my concealed carry class, I would say, well, if you did the same thing, kudos to you, regardless to who was on the other side of that door, because you don't know it's the police, especially if you're involved in that kind of activity. And Kenneth Walker, for all intents and purposes, I feel sad for him without knowing anything about him, because he got drawn into something so soon. He didn't know anything about Brianna. And so when they hit the house, he sees himself as protecting his girl. And in fact, his bullets made contact with one of the police officers who had to go through surgery. Nothing against the police, but great job. That's what you're supposed to do. Your actions are supposed to result in something like what happened to that officer. They didn't announce their presence, or it was said they didn't announce their presence, and that's what's supposed to happen. And so, given that, a reasonable, prudent person would say, irregardless to who the person was shot, I understand why he did what he did. And so instead of advocating for justice alone, not saying you shouldn't, but why aren't you advocating for, yes, why aren't you advocating for, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me? How about that? Why is she in it anyway? Kira Bradley says to Jake Glover, so where your money at? Where's my money at? Bree had like $8 grand. This is what Jamarcus is saying to Kiara. Bree had $8 grand of your money? Yeah. Tell cuz Bree got down like 15 grand and she had the other 8 grand and I gave it to her the other day. So when you're talking about all of these conversations occurring between them and he's pretty much telling the doggone tale about how Bree had the money, why would she not be the subject of the investigation? Why would she not be? What have you all been learning from this? We'll talk about that when we come back.
WIFTDPM.
Is it really a good idea to have the same senator for 3 generations? I support term limit for all elected officials. Our senators need to bring home growth for our business community, jobs, housing, service for our senior citizens, and health care. We need new ideas and new approach to federal representation. I'm Dr. Willie Wilson. Vote for me and send me to Washington, D.C. God bless.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for Senate 2020.
Hey, what's good? This is Mike Love.
Hey, what's up? It's Diz, and if you already get y'all trip on, we got something for you.
Chicago Famous. 3 to 6, Monday through Friday on What's in It for the Black People Media.
If you've been a fan of our podcast, Chicago Famous, now you get to see us live Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. We are going to be off the chain.
Make sure you check us out.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday, or you can find them online at solobeauty.com.
WIFTDPM.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio.
And so, my fellow Americans, I have a dream.
You're listening to Trigger.
You want to crown him? Then crown her ass. I ain't scared of you, mother.
The one and only.
Mike Brown. Mike Brown.
My calculations are correct.
Let's begin.
All right, we're back with Trigger with Instructor Mike. I am your host, Mike Brown, and we're going to bring about some lessons learned in this Breonna Taylor incident. Just a few more, just a very, very small few things to read. You know, questions were asked in terms of the shots, you know, and why, you know, he shot first. He shot first because he thought it was a home invasion. And in that, he returned fire. You know, the police returned fire, and she got hit. Now, Jamarcus Glover then says to Bradley, and Bradley is not the side chick. Bradley is the his child's mother. Okay, his child's mother. And so this is what you got to understand. Don't take it wrong, but Bree had been handling all my money. She had been handling all my money. She had been handling shit for me, and cuz it ain't just me. I mean, she should have at least told you where your money is, Chop. I can't talk to you on this phone, but I will tell you exactly the reason why. She should tell you where your money is. When you get your money at the house, I tell you where exactly it is. So Kiara's a part of it too. Kiara's a part of it too. She just wasn't the target directly of the investigation because her role was rather small and probably more passive than the new girl, Breonna. I'm just saying, man. And then you go down, Kiara was like, look, this bitch, referring to Breonna Taylor, where she been with you since you ain't been over my house or my home, the same day you post a picture, I guess she posted a video. You knew it because she said that's what's up. She was in the bed with you, kissing all over you. This shit is embarrassing. Come on, man. So what do we, dads, moms, what do we teach our daughters as a result of this? You all tell me. Because I've been looking at some of your comments on Facebook and not reacting, you know, to try to stay on topic. But, you know, I've been seeing certain comments like, this is bullshit. Mike is full of shit. Mike is this. Okay, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. My self-esteem is high. I'm not moved on those things. But if you got a daughter, damn it, you should be talking about this case. Louis Farrakhan even said it. Look, when people fall, don't laugh. You can sit there and cry all day, whatever, learn. So what lessons are we learning from this? What lessons are we learning from this? It's still good. What lessons are we learning from this? Oh, it's still on? I don't see it. Switched it. What lessons are we learning from this? Because I really want to know that. I really want to know. We can talk about a caste system. We can talk about this. We can talk about that. But what are we learning? What are we learning from this? You know, yes, the city of Louisville just settled with the family for $12 million. $12 million. So guess who that's going to benefit? The Taylor family. Okay, what does that do for your family? What does that do to help prevent your daughter or son from becoming the next hashtag? Sidetrack, we'll talk about Tamir Rice. Tamir Rice, a kid killed in Cleveland. I believe it was Cleveland, Cincinnati or Cleveland, in Ohio. And if you've been following Ohio as it relates to Supreme Court cases, the Supreme Court has been filled with decisions coming out of the state of Ohio of constitutional violations that result in justice for black folks as a result of the atrocities that have occurred towards black folks. Mapp versus Ohio. Yes, teach your babies to know who they are with and trust their instincts. You heard her say, I can't go to sleep. Every time you're around, I'm worried about the police. I'm not worried about women. I'm worried about the police. Kenneth Walker, the justice for you is not just advocating for Breonna, but advocating for whatever issues you may have within you that caused you to miss those red flags. Thank you, Patah, Cleveland. That caused you to miss those red flags. We missed them. I'm going to tell you, I've missed them. I've missed them. We all have. when we are susceptible to the voids within our lives that motivate our choices, we find ourselves aligning with people who may not mean us the best good, but you not think, due to the graphic nature of what I'm about to say, it's about to get fucking real. I'm about to say some shit. I'm going to trigger the fuck out of you, so get ready. Because you getting fucked well, you ain't seeing it. Because you getting those dollars, you not seeing it. Because you getting that material and those cars and getting that Louis Vuitton and Burberry, you're not seeing the shit. Because your instant gratification, a person is fucking your ego while destroying your promise. And that's what we're not seeing. The men who have insecurities with the mommy issues, I was one of them. I'm bold enough to say it. The fact that you're not telling your kids about a past to save them from a past because you had your kids because you wanted fucking friends instead of sitting here and teaching them about your past to save them from a past. You don't want to be embarrassed. And so you hide shit from them. And they become an exact copy of you. The apple don't fall too far from the tree. And so you look at the given you look at Breonna Taylor's mom. Another beautiful, I guarantee you, if I dive in, they look like they could be sisters. God bless your sister. But doggone it, it could be something within you that may have made that a possibility. And yes, you can unfuck it fast, but you gotta talk to your kids. You gotta sit them down. What do we do in the black family? When you turn 18, get the fuck on out. Get out you think you know more than you do. Get your ass on out of here and do it for yourself. And that's the wrong thing. Just because they're 18, they are not ready for this world. That's when life college starts. That's when life college starts. And yes, your position as a parent changes from an active parent to parental advisor. But they have a road that they have to travel. And you still got more fucking lessons to teach. And if we don't start teaching those lessons, more of our villages are going to be burned down. But why would I tell you this if I gain money from your victimization? Eddie Guns, you are absolutely right. Absolutely right. Becoming an attorney and fighting for fathers' rights, that's another thing that I'm about to do when I get my law degree. Going on the criminal defense track and also a small segment of family law, specifically specializing in helping dads get back. Because a part of this problem, you want to sit here and talk about how the father ain't shit, but you don't want to say how long you've been the fly. Because all the men that have been in your area are piles of shit. Well, by God, when you gonna drop your pretty wings? That's right. And I love you enough, sus, to say this shit. I love you enough to say this. And they can't wait to get out and some of y'all kids can't wait to be free from your hostage asses. Because when you don't have nothing to teach your kids, you beat your kids. When you don't have self-esteem, you don't teach them about their own self-esteem. You don't teach them things from a real-world perspective. How many of you bold enough to tell your child that your child was the rebound baby? You don't want to say shit about that. Because I don't want them to see me in a negative light. Tell me what a rebound baby is. Tell me the fact that, yes, we had you trying to save a relationship and it didn't work. That could be the very thing that could save them when that time comes, because you put that dot, that uncomfortable dot in their head that caused them to think about how I felt when I learned about how I was created. That may be the thing that may cause them to back out of that situation. You have a duty to your children, and it's not too late. Part of the reason why they are still the way they are is because you don't tell them about the lessons they need to learn as an adult. Oh, how easily we look at Genesis. Yeah, I'm going to refer to the Bible. Let me fucking piss you off some more. Genesis, where we're talking about the creation of Adam to till the land, and then the creation of Eve from the side of the rib of Adam. And don't eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for if you eat from this tree, I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen. Just don't do it. The Adam and Eve, if you believe in the Bible, were created as an adult, but they just were born. How many of you had to teach your kids about discipline? When did they get what obedience meant? And so in this Bible, these adults are supposed to automatically learn what obedience is. That's where we first learn that shit. And then they eat of the tree because this serpent, Satan, how many of you all with knowledge have been called devils? This serpent, Satan, says, come along and eat of this tree because you're going to, blind? No, shit, you won't be blind. If you eat of this tree, you'll be like a god, being able to decide that which is good and that which is evil. Do we not want that of our people? But no, we want to hide the truth from them because we only want them to be subservient and docile. We only want them to do what we tell them to do and nothing more. We don't want them to think that they are free from the caste system or from slavery or from other elements of white. It ain't over. No, racism is still here, but the white man ain't thinking about your motherfucking ass. The white man is too busy trying to check their own motherfucking bag. They too busy trying to stop their schools from being shot up by their little angry ass kids. They're not thinking about you. But when you want to play that victim role and you got somebody who's benefiting from your victim mindset, they're going to keep on telling you to ignore that tree of the knowledge of good and evil, to be able to decide and be able to be the ruler of your own destiny, because I benefit from your misery. I benefit from the fact, God rest in peace, FBG Duck, but all three of the sons get killed, and mama, you don't think it ain't you? Come on now. I got respect enough to tell you that. So then you eat of the tree and your eyes become open. And all of a sudden you realize you got areolas. You realize that you got a flaccid Richard. And you get something and you hide it. You hide it. And then instead of, and I'm not talking about God as in God, but God is in the portrayal of how he or she, whatever, is portrayed in this Bible, this book of man. See, how many of you women have said, well, when a man says something, they don't think it out all the way. Well, whoever wrote Genesis was a part of that, not thinking it out all the way. Let's continue. Instead of saying, hey, I put this tree in the area for you to fail, and you failed, I apologize for putting this tree in the area because as a father, I have a duty to make sure I help navigate and guide my children through where they need to go. And if I see danger ahead, I'm not going to sit there and tell you, hey, there's danger ahead. I'm going to try to intercept that danger and teach you about what you just walked into. But how many parents wait until their child gets into the danger? Oh, we got to have a fucking conversation. Well, it's a little too late. But that's not what happened in the Bible. You got banished from the Garden of Eden. Women, you have to deal with labor and all these pains and all this other stuff because Eve was the one who convinced Adam to do it. And all these other negative things that supposedly happened because a person put something in the area. They knew this omnipresent, this all-powerful, all-knowing. How could you not know that I was going to walk into this? When you walked into it, you had a duty and a responsibility, and you failed in that fucking duty, and then you want to punish me because of it? But I'm supposed to worship you. How the fuck does that work? Come on now. You would crucify an adult who did that to their child today. Start teaching our kids, our teenagers, it's not too fucking late. Stop giving up on them. Some of them you kind of got to give up on, though. Stop giving up on them. Sometimes they think they can't even come to you because every time they tried to cry, you smacked them, you whooped them, you told them crying is for the weak. But here your ass is crying. It's too hard. There's too many kids. I don't have any help. Yeah, pissing you the fuck off, and I'm glad. Because that's the road less traveled. We don't talk about this one. We don't talk about this. Superintendent Brown, I'm going to keep going back to his statement. As long as the police are the only ones attempting to be held accountable, whether they're held accountable or not, as long as the police are the only focal point, there isn't going to be any change. He's right. Suck it up, Buttercup. There isn't going to be any change. So when we going to start? When we going to start holding DCFS accountable? When we going to start holding the DCFS in your house accountable? When we going to start holding these punk-ass parents accountable? I love you, parents. You can have a great soul. I love you. But some of y'all some punk-ass parents. Why? Because you're not looking at the issues within you that's motivating your children see you and why you move the way you do and how you move the way you do. You think they don't pay attention? They pay attention. The children of the future will always be smarter than the predecessors. Why? Because of the access and the desire and the information through which they soak up education. They will always be smarter. Always. You got to cut this misinformation campaign out. The real fake news is in your house. The real fake media is in your house. The real abusive police officer is in your house. The real public defender you think don't defend is your parents who don't defend you in the public but whoop your ass in the public. The real bad cook could be me because I don't know how to cook. I admit. The problems reside within the four walls that you are born in. And unless there's some intervention, you are fucked. I wish I could say it better. I wish I could. But we got to go to break. And then I'm going to talk about my books just a little bit. And then we'll be out of here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Triggered with Instructor Mike.
WIFTBPM.
What's up, good people? You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard.
You'll never breed a warrior.
Warriors, come out to play.
Shh. You hear that?
And that's what's happening at every angle. They're creating paradigms where we can only raise feminine men.
Yes.
Whether they're homosexual or not, they feminine as shit.
Sure, because all masculinity is toxic.
All masculinity is toxic in a war-torn society where the dominant society is saying to your ass, we don't never want no warriors.
Right.
You bastards.
Any book you've ever read, you can read the Bible, goddammit. When they go and they destroy some shit, they kill all the boy babies.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even want you growing up to think you're going to do some shit to me.
Animals do the same thing. If I come over here and I take over this village now or whatever, like this gonna be my pride. First thing I'm doing, killing the male boys, like killing the male babies.
Don't you
like,
even grow up with that attitude,
Don't you
little
even
nigga.
think about it.
Ever.
Okay?
Bitch.
Right. You ain't my daddy, you damn right I ain't your daddy. Fuck your fort, little nigga.
Fuck your fort.
You love my dad.
Oh man, I laugh at this shit in public.
That's real.
I laugh at this stuff in public.
That's real though, right? Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard live on What's in It for the Black People Media, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
WIFTBPM.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio.
And so, my fellow Americans, I have a dream.
You're listening to Trigger.
You want to crown him? Then crown her ass. I ain't scared of you, mother.
The one and only.
Mike Brown.
My calculations are correct.
Let's begin.
All right, we are back. We are back. What's in it for the Black People Media Network with Trigger with Instructor Mike. I'm your host, Instructor Mike. You know, we've been having a great conversation, and you know, when I come back on Thursday, we're gonna talk about concealed carry and open up the phone lines and things like that, and talk about that. But this topic is just so near and dear to my heart. It really is, because you know, as a person who's had to survive, you know, just my community. You know, I hate to even say it like that. That shit sucks. That you got to survive your community? Damn. That's messed up. You know, I had my concealed carry class a couple of days ago. And so we were standing outside on 79th Street, and somebody was like, you know, shit, you don't want to stand out on the 9 for too long. And that's something, that statement becomes possible, where we can't even stand out on our own corners without worrying about violence. And we're not worried about Tom Sklarowitz with the drive-by. And they got the M240 Bravos and the 249s and the, the miniguns that, they got them. The M134s, they got them. But we're not worried about that. We worried about those with the choppers and the AK-47s and stuff like that. Patop, put a great, interesting point. All the violence that occurred this weekend, that occurs every weekend. No fanfare, right? And I guess, well, that's not true. You got people that protest and they do their little peace marches and stuff like that. Come on, man. Come on. Yeah, that little protest is important, I guess. Nothing against it. But come on, man, not to the level of what we see before. Where's the looting and rioting when one of us gets killed? I don't know what that would do. It would serve no purpose, right? But what about that? If the people who had killed Breonna Taylor were not the police, but were his competition, and they were taking out all of his spots, would there be a $12 million lawsuit? Would there be a settlement? Would there be a cry for justice? Well, no, Mike, there would be no cry for justice because he would be taken into custody and he would be held on trial and he would be convicted and he would be given 1,000 years, if not the death penalty. All the above, which is true, except there would be no protest. There would be the conclusion that, well, shit, that's what happens. That's what comes with the game. You get with the bad boy, you get them bad noise. You get them consequences that come with it. Shit, you got to be more careful. And that's where it would have been the beginning and the end of Say Her Name. What about the young lady, 55th, and I want to say whatever that street is, two doggone streets over from State. I want to say Lafayette. I could be wrong. What about her and her boyfriend? What about that, right? She was killed in the car. Ops did it. Other gang members or factions of gangs or people in the narcotics business. No fanfare for her. Don't even know if the case is even solved. No fanfare. And you're right. We've become so numb to the shootings because we know it won't change until the folks in the neighborhood decide to change. But the thing is, everybody. Look, the United States Marine Corps has a saying. Everybody wants to go to heaven. Nobody's willing to die. Nobody's actually willing to die to bring about this. Hey, I got to check you, cuzzo, because you fucking it up. Well, you're not about to check me because I'm going to kill you. Well, fuck it. We both just have to die then because I'm tired of your bullshit because you bringing the police to our community, and that shit's got to stop. We ain't about to do that, though. That would be an internal civil war. You too busy focusing on the Kyle Rittenhouses and trying to get into some white shit that you ain't ready for. Talked about that a couple of episodes ago. 17-year-old shot 3 of them, and your ass can't even qualify on your concealed carry license qualification. Best sit your ass down. All right, that's it for today. I'm just saying. All right, what I tell myself first, children's real-world affirmations of self-esteem. We got to start putting real-world affirmations into our children. Go on Amazon, get that book. What I tell myself about self-protection. What I tell myself about talent. Go ahead and get those books. Get those books. Look them up. Look them up. I got them. I've seen the results of what those books can do when you continue to teach our children certain things like I like me. Not everyone will like me. That's okay. I like me. It's no one's job to make me anything. That's my job. It's no one's job to protect me or heal me from anything. That's my job. I must make myself what I need to be to make myself what I want to be. That's what's in that book. And you start teaching your kids that every day. You start teaching your kids that every day. I must make myself what I need to be to make myself what I want to be. That starts them on the journey to self-reflection. For every time you want to point that finger at someone else, there's 3 more fingers pointing back at you. John C. Maxwell, leadership guru, even said it best. For every one of my employees that come to me with a problem, they have to have 3 ways that they see they can solve it. My job as a leader is to turn you into a leader of yourself. Be able to lead yourself up, down, up to your bosses, down to your subordinates, and across to your peers. If you don't lead yourself exceptionally well, you're going to continue to be led by others who have agendas for you that you don't even see. You keep on. That's why it's important to listen to Maze Jackson in the morning from 6 to 9. That's why it's important to even listen to Herb Howard and Toussaint Warner, The Book of Dawn, Salim Muwakil. It's important for you to listen to the bigs, and they're coming up next to talk about sports and other things. It's important for you to listen to Chicago Famous with Mike Love and Diz, Chicago Legends. It's important for you to listen to the people in your village who's been through shit. Not for you to like what the fuck we got to say, but for you to learn from what we got to say. Because when we've been out there in the field and it's been tried and true and tested, you break out your fucking pen and paper and sit down there and shut up and listen. And think about some logical questions to ask. Don't be a fucking lollipop or a simp all your life. Own the fuck up to your shit. If I got to own up to it, you got to own up to it too, because none of us are perfect. If those of you all who are going through pain, and I'm going to end with this, when you learn about yourself and about what you've gone through and what's caused you to be motivated to make the choices that you've made, if you can endure the pain in that road, if you can endure that pain, you will find your purpose in the process. But if you aren't willing to learn yourself, other people are going to learn you because they already know what it took to fucking make you. And that's it. This is Instructor Mike, and you've been trained. Go to my YouTube page. Go to Instructor Mike, like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell for notifications. Like the Maze Jackson page. Like and subscribe. Until next time, get your ass.